All right, guys, we are gonna be reacting to this interesting video. China released 1 million rabbits into the desert. What happened next shocked the world. So they released millions of rabbits into the desert, and something actually happened, I guess. We're gonna react to this to see what's going on. I don't know what this is all about. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Let's jump in.
Spaces. According to the United Nations, 41% of the Earth's surface is desert, and 40% is threatened by desertification. No water, not a single tree, not a place for life. Yet in China, one remarkable man took bold and intelligent action. In just 30 years, he planted over 300 million willow trees, released 4.5 million rabbits, and installed 196,000 solar panels in the shape of a giant horse in the middle of the desert. The project was recognized by the United Nations as a global model for desertification control, a rare honor previously achieved only by Uzbekistan. So who created this miracle? And how could rabbits possibly save a desert? Let's find out together right now. You're looking at the Kabuki Desert, the 7th largest desert in China, stretching over 7,200 square miles, about the size of Massachusetts. Located in northern China, the climate here is unfit for people or plants. Winters are so cold and windy they feel like knives on your skin, with temperatures dropping to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, while summers are scorching, burning the ground. Decades ago, the desert wasn't this vast. It used to be farmland dotted with villages, rivers, and grasslands. Then everything changed. The winds got stronger. The grass disappeared. Yes, desertification.
Wow.
Sand started to move, swallowing houses and roads. The few remaining villagers left. In just a few decades, Kabuki expanded more than 25 miles east, burying thousands of acres of farmland under sand dunes up to 200 feet high.
Wow.
By the 1950s and 1960s, the Chinese government launched one of the largest anti-desertification campaigns in history. They built windbreak forests, banned livestock grazing, and dug deep wells in the dusty earth. But nothing worked. The problem wasn't so simple. The desert kept advancing. But China wouldn't be China if they didn't come up with a smart solution, and we're about to find out what that was. One man, Wang Wenbiao, known locally as the Desert King, led the way. But don't think he was born rich. Not at all. He was once a poor teacher in Inner Mongolia, biking over 6 miles through sand every day to get to class. Sometimes the wind was so strong his bike would be half buried and sand would get into his lungs. But right at that moment, he declared, "If I can't escape the desert, I'll make it pay rent." And he meant it. Starting from nothing, Wang poured all his savings and borrowed money to try what no one else dared. In 1988, with just a small salt company, he began his crazy experiment, spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build windbreaks, plant over 50 million willows, and green 1,400 square miles of barren land. But we'll get to that later. People called him crazy. The authorities called him a dreamer. But he kept going, living among the sand, measuring every bit of moisture. But that wasn't even the wildest part. In a place of only wind sand and biting cold, Wang Wenbiao decided to try something no one else had ever done, bringing rabbits into the desert. Yes, you heard right, over 4 million.
What? Why would you even think about bringing rabbits into a desert? That makes no sense at all.
Million Rex rabbits are now living in the arid desert. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Not robots, not high-tech, but these cute little creatures. A furry, small animal thought to only thrive in Europe's damp grasslands, now flourishing in this dry land. But these aren't ordinary rabbits. These are French-bred Rex rabbits known as the white gold of the fur industry. Their fur is as soft as velvet, smooth as otter skin, and lacks guard hairs, so it doesn't need shaving or plucking after tanning. A quality Rex pelt can fetch nearly $30, while raising one costs only about $2. No wonder China now holds over 80% of the world's Rex rabbit fur market. Even more impressive, each female can have 25 litters a year, producing 200 to 300 kits, 25 times faster than normal rabbits,
There you
with a
go.
survival rate of up to 96% even in hot, dry climates. They drink little, eat dry grass, and still reproduce normally, even in freezing minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit weather. These rabbits aren't just released into the wild, they live in closed-loop eco-farms. Their meat is used for food, their fur for clothing, their organs for traditional medicine. And the most valuable thing is their manure. Yes, rabbit manure contains nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The three nutrients desert sand totally lacks. When it drops to the ground, it turns sand into moist humus,
There
creating
we
the first
go.
brown soil in
There we go. That's why they brought the rabbits to that area. Okay, okay.
centuries. And here's the miracle: Rex rabbits can't digest grass seeds. This means every time they do their business, they're actually planting seeds with natural fertilizer which will sprout during the next rainy season. Remember all those willow trees planted earlier? It's no accident they can survive in such dry places. Wang Wenbiao understood that for rabbits to live in the desert, he needed something Kabuki never had before: food and shade. And the silent hero was the willow tree. Did you know willows aren't ordinary trees? Their roots can reach over 300 feet deep, almost as tall as a 30-story building, tapping into underground water
Wow.
and holding the sand in place. And then, the circle of life began. Young willow shoots became food for the Rex rabbits. The rabbits in turn left nutrient-rich manure around the willows. The trees feed the rabbits. The rabbits feed the soil. The soil feeds the trees. A closed ecological loop where nothing goes to waste. Scientists estimate that each acre in the willow rabbit model can produce over 5 tons of organic humus per year,
Wow.
turning sand into farmland in just 3 to 5 years. In just a decade, over 300 million willows have been planted, creating a green wall thousands of miles long, reducing wind speeds by 90%, and holding back over 15 million tons of sand each year.
Wow.
But that's not all. Wang Wenbiao didn't stop at planting trees or raising rabbits. He turned more than 7,200 square miles of desert into a giant laboratory for ecological economics. Wang Wenbiao hired over 100 bulldozers and 300 workers, working 18-hour days to flatten sand dunes and build windbreak fences stretching for dozens of miles.
That is smart.
In just the first 5 years, more than 1,200 square miles of desert, almost the size of Rhode Island, were turned green.
Wow.
Millions of willows grew, millions of rabbits multiplied, and thousands of families returned to their hometowns once swept away by sand.
That is so nice. That is very nice. That's what you need, man. That's putting back the community where it belongs. That is very nice. So they put the family back where they belong, and now they can just basically go to their noble life.
Sandstorms. In just 10 years, the Dalad Banner area had 4.5 million Rex rabbits, generating 560 million yuan, about $76 million, helping more than 10,000 families escape poverty.
Wow.
Each family needed only about $3,000 to $4,000 to start and could make 4 times that in their first year. When people thought Kabuki had reached the limit of its green miracle, Wang Wenbiao amazed the world again. He brought solar energy into the heart of the desert. Yes, right where people once called it the Dead Sea. He built the Junma Solar Power Plant,
Wow.
a massive project with 196,000 solar panels arranged in the shape of a galloping horse. Seen from space, it's not just a power plant, but the largest energy artwork in the world, recognized by the Guinness World Records. Every year, Junma produces 2.3 billion kilowatt hours of electricity, enough to power over 400,000 people, the population of Miami, Florida. But what makes this project special is that it doesn't just generate electricity. The panels also reduce wind speeds by up to 50%, creating shade for grass to grow underneath, where rabbits, sheep, and geese are released for
It's so man, that was so smart. Yeah, because when you create shade, the grass doesn't burn, right? So it's creating this system where in the long term start it's gonna grow a lot of. I think they tried this in Africa too. They create some system where right in the middle of the Africa is all desert, so they started creating some of these systems just to create some vegetation for the people, for the local people.
Biological mowing. Thanks to this, the soil is stabilized, sand no longer blows away, and a new
Oh,
ecosystem forms right under the solar panels. By 2022, Junma had saved over 760,000 tons of
wow.
coal, cutting 1.85 million tons of carbon dioxide, the
That's it.
equivalent of planting over 80 million trees. In just 4 years, the area around the plant turned more than 2,600 acres of Dead Sea into a green
Wow.
energy oasis. From rabbits, willows, and sand, Wang Wenbiao created a closed value chain, meat fur manure, biogas tourism, and even solar energy.
Wow.
And the result? From 2010 to 2020 alone, Kabuki's ecological economy generated over $10 billion,
Wow.
becoming the most profitable green model in Asia. Then the unthinkable happened.
Oh, more.
After decades of people battling the sand, nature finally responded. A 2023 report from China's Ministry of Ecology stunned the world. The number of wild deer, desert foxes, and migratory birds in Kabuki has quadrupled since 1990. Species that had vanished completely now appear again in fields once filled only with sand and
Really?
bones. Groundwater. The
Wait, hold up.
fields once filled only with sand and bones. Groundwater. The
So basically, they're starting to come back to that area. Okay.
liquid gold of Kabuki has risen by an average of 5 to 6.5 feet in just 20 years. That means if you drill a well today, you'll hit water at only half the depth compared to a generation ago.
Wow.
And that's the difference between dead land and living land. Not only have animals returned, but over 100 native plant species from feathergrass and desert poplars to desert flowers have come back, creating a scene few would believe: golden sand mixed with green grass and even small patches of forest sparkling in the sunlight. In fact, the soil here is no longer blown away by the wind. Instead, it's loose and has the earthy smell of life.
Wow.
Now let's fly over 4,000 miles south to Australia, where this very animal once caused one of the worst ecological disasters in human history. In the mid-19th century, just 24 European rabbits were brought over by a British settler for hunting. Sounds harmless, right? But you can't imagine what happened next. In just 50 years, the rabbit population exploded to over 1 billion.
Wow.
They ate all the grass-destroyed roots and turned nearly 2/3 of Australia's plains into desert. Each little rabbit could eat as much grass as a lamb,
Damn.
and when hundreds of millions eat together, you can imagine the result. The Australian government tried everything to control them, building fences over 2,000 miles long,
doesn't
almost the width of the United States, releasing the myxomatosis virus, even blowing up and shooting rabbits en masse.
Didn't work.
But nothing could stop the rabbit wave. So why are rabbits monsters in Australia but saviors in China? The difference is in how people act. In Kabuki, Rex rabbits are never released into the wild. They're part of a closed-loop ecosystem, strictly managed, eating willows, producing manure, enriching the soil, and generating profit. It's not just about raising rabbits, it's about building a strategic ecosystem. However, behind the impressive numbers
So
and beautiful
before-
footage of
So they brought the rabbits from England. They just let them go. So they said, you know what? You're gonna let me go because you want to hunt. We're gonna repopulate. So they just got out of control. Only 25. Wow.
the green desert, Kabuki hasn't avoided controversy. Some environmentalists argue the rabbit desert model is only a small part of the massive economic ecosystem of ENN Group, the company Wang Wenbiao founded. They claim Chinese media has exaggerated the role of rabbits, while the real success factors are government planning, big investment, and advanced land management technology. Many experts also worry that if this model expands too quickly, it could create new ecological pressures.
Meaning,
Rabbit manure, while nutritious if it accumulates too much, can cause nitrogen pollution, alter soil pH,
oh,
and affect groundwater. Some pilot areas have even seen green algae appear around natural fertilizer ponds. Yet the United Nations sees something different. In 2011, kabuki was recognized by the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification as a global model for desertification control, an honor only a few places in the world have received. By 2019, it officially became a global land restoration demonstration center
wow.
internationally recognized as a standard for sustainable development in arid regions. And now
Yeah,
Kabuki's story doesn't
especially for Arab region. That's correct. If you can master this type of technology, you can bring a lot of prosperity to a lot of these nations. I agree. I agree.
stop at China's borders. It has spread worldwide as a planetary regeneration formula from Africa's drylands
Yeah.
to the deserts of the Middle East and now to Europe. In Andalusia, southern Spain, once dazzling under the Mediterranean sun and hailed by the Romans as the granary of the empire, the region is now facing one of the worst climate disasters of the century.
Wow.
Rainfall has dropped by over 40% in just 30 years.
Wow.
Hundreds of rivers and ancient irrigation channels have dried up, and farmland is cracking as if scorched by fire. In many places, people have to drill wells over 650 feet deep just to find a little groundwater. According to the European Union, nearly 75% of Spain's land is now directly threatened by desertification,
That's crazy.
making the country the driest hotspot in Europe. Yet in desperation, Spain chose to rise. Learning from the Kabuki model, the government launched the Andalusia Restoration Plan 2030 with a bold philosophy, not just fighting the desert but bringing it back to life. They are building the Mediterranean Green Wall, planting millions of olive trees, acacias, and native grasses to keep the soil moist while developing regenerative agriculture where farmers' soil and climate are managed as one living system.
And then I guess after that you can just plant like fruits and then create like a nice ecological system, I guess.
Solar farm systems are also springing up, modeled after Kabuki's agro-PV approach, growing crops under solar panels, producing clean electricity, and keeping the soil moist. From a dead land buried under sand, Kabuki has become a symbol of hope. People haven't just conquered nature, they've learned to live in harmony with it. If a desert in China can come back to life, what's stopping the rest of the world? What do you think? Could this green miracle save our planet?
Wow.
Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Well, that was good, man. Great documentary, man. Hey, man, if they manage to just create a system where the certification, that's how they call it, is something that can be applied. Desertification, meaning you can stop the sand to keep moving forward, because what happened is it creates a lot of problems, especially for people that are not accustomed to inhale a lot of sand. It can create a lot of sickness. It can get to your body, and it can create a lot of problems, respiratory problems. Very nice, man. Hey, that's weird. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Didn't know that. See, in China does that again. I guess they do it again. Wow. Well, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you guys knew about this? I didn't know about this at all. Did not know it. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. I will see you next one.